Go ahead, Chris.
I just want to move on. We have a ton of hands. That's all. So next is going to be Jen A and then Ralph K. Go ahead, Jen.
Hi guys, I'm Jen A. I'm an addict. My home group is one of the biggest in our area, and we have had some serious discord in our group, and our doors are still open. So they really are not open to creating an online group, at least just because there's just so much stuff going on. So I created my own group and with some other home group members, but our area is not recognizing our meeting because we're not an established home group, and they're concerned because we're signing verification papers. So I just wanted to know if we should stop signing verification papers because we're not an NA approved home group member according to our area. And how do I become a home group member or an NA approved home group so that we could do this the right way?
You want me to answer that?
I saw you. I knew you were going to
go. This is my big pet peeve that I've had for 6 years.
Keep it short.
Okay. If an area has the ability to deny recognition of a group based upon whatever criteria that they set, the only stipulation at World Service is that online meetings are not registered as groups, but a group of members can define themselves as an NA group. And just because your area may not recognize you, because it's virtual, you have the ability to seek other areas that would recognize you. When it comes to meeting attendance, it is up to the individual who is attending, who is trying to meet requirements for their parole or for their treatment or for their whoever is the authority that is imposing this requirement of their attendance. It is their responsibility to participate in meetings where that is recognized. So it might be best that for this moment that, or explain that to them, that you are a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and we meet regularly, and we follow the 12 steps, and we read from our literature, and we follow the traditions, and we will sign attendance sheets per the practices that have been shared on social media and others. And if the individual that is verifying or validating their attendance has any questions, they can reach out to your group secretary or trusted servants to explain that situation. And then as this matures and goes through the forming phase that our fellowship is going through with the question of group, not a group, that's going to be a question that the fellowship as a whole is going to have to say with one collective loud voice, this is or is not. And that's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It'll probably happen over, a year or so. So I tried to keep that short, Shane.
That's good. And Jen, Jay and Steve are both here from NA and Home in the Highlands and Islands, and they're going to put their contact info in the chat. And I want you to reach out to them because that's a huge issue. We need to dig deep into it, but we don't have time to do it because we're talking about H&I and PI today. But I want to make sure you get what you need because we've all been dealing with that experience for a couple, they have for many years and we have for a couple of years. So we're going to get back to the list. We're going to get back to Ralph, but Jen, make sure, there you go. They're both in there right now in the chat. Jen, do you know how to access the chat?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your service. Make sure you
put
your email in the chat. Make sure you put your email in the chat so we can contact you too.
Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much for what you've done. I've been to every single one of your presentations last Sundays, and I really appreciate everything you're doing.
We got a lot of friends in Orlando in the Florida Service Symposium, so we'll be down there. We'll get a chance to meet you.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All righty. Go ahead, Ralph.
My name is Ralph. I'm an addict. Yeah, I'm visiting from Berlin, Germany. And it's been very, very interesting. Last week, it was my first time. This week, second time. The previous question, we had some of these issues too. We have a lockdown now, and the way this thing is going, a lot of these discussions will be over like within a week, you know, whether a group is recognized or not, because then all the meetings will be online. And this is just our experience because we're a little bit ahead of you guys, you know. And one approach we had on Thursday the 12th, we had a group meeting from the web team, and on Friday the 13th we heard that the meetings will be closed down. We immediately got into action, and now we have like 50 meetings in Berlin area online, and a lot all over Germany there are meetings online. The experience we had was like, we have like the effort to create meetings was done by the area, because we have an area committee who took action. And so this like really, this was not like a single group, but it was part of the structure. And that was very helpful. So we had like people from PR, from the web team and other, you know, services coming together in one unit, so to speak. And it was very, so we were like very effective in this way. As far as contributions are going, because this was an area effort, we tell people to contribute to the area. And we had an area virtual online meeting with the area, and maybe some meetings they were afraid that, you know, their rent, they have places they might go back to when this is over, that they may have to pay rent. And it was an understanding, because we donate to the area, that the area will cover for this, you know, so this was very good. And the next thing is, our next step is exactly what we're talking about today. We had a meeting a few days ago. We were working on like a press release that we go to the media, maybe get a cover story in some of the mags, or we do online stuff. We're talking to our people who do the online stuff. Also what we do, we talk to all the meetings that they have like, that they should put up signs in all the physical meeting places, that they are online meetings now. The people who might, you know, go to these places know that they are online meetings. All our meetings are on the BMLT with the links for the videos and the dial-in numbers. So if you go to the NA Berlin website, na-berlin.de, you can see it's all like linked to the BMLT. And we're creating a print version, you know, through the export of the BMLT of all this information that we can send into institutions. But we can go physically, we can't go into any institutions anymore because they're all under lockdown. So we're thinking about, you know, what we can do, maybe bringing in some of these meetings. And so it was very inspiring what you guys said. We just at the beginning, you know, we're doing what we can, and yeah. So like the Berlin area were like the first ones. Then we like marched ahead, you know, and everybody in the other areas, they didn't have a lockdown yet, you know, and they said, oh no, we don't need this, or we don't want these online meetings. And now everybody's asking us, how do you do it? You know, I mean, it's like, and sometimes it's just needed that you have to, you know, make decisions and don't go by, you know, not, we always go by the rule, but sometimes it's a matter about making decisions and taking a leadership. And our committee took a leadership, and it's very important that guys like you are here, and there are people like, you know, in other countries who do that. This is a worldwide thing now, you know, and a very unified fellowship. Because of this, you know, we're pulling together and learning from each other. It's learning by doing, you know, it's really learning by doing now. And so it's great to share all these experiences that you have. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ralph. Again, what you just heard was multi multifaceted approach. One, putting a posting on physical buildings, saying how to find our meetings, and then working with the facilities, again, how to find our meetings. They're all online now, so we got to keep doing this. And like, Brentland's doing an amazing job. So we're going to go to Glenn's iPhone and then Alicia. Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, how you doing? Can you hear me? Okay, great. You know, this has been really informative. I love it. I can identify with so many of the issues you're dealing with. And I don't want to take up a lot of time because, you know, it's already been an hour and a half and stuff, but I have some specific things, like, for instance, individual members are creating Zoom accounts for their home group, or let's say for whatever they're doing. Now, if that person goes to another home group or something like that, then the contact information is lost. So what I'm thinking is that it sounds like, and you're backing that up, that we really should encourage to create Zoom accounts through areas or H&I subcommittees or something like that. Because right now, you know, if my chairperson who has a Zoom account relapses, we're going to be posting a new, you know, Zoom address on the meeting list and stuff. So I'm actually getting a little, I want to say opposition, but difficulty in explaining that to my area. If you could just, I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but I'd like to hear it just to confirm that.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I think if those who remember, I posted a virtual solution like 2 days after this pandemic broke. I had this vision of people rushing to create Zoom meetings. And then I had this vision that after we're on the other side of the bell curve of the apex of this pandemic, that there'll be this wasteland of a Coachella concert of empty paper plates and plastic cups of abandoned Zoom meetings. And so I was like, please, you know, so yeah, it's going to be a complex, you know, we are a decentralized fellowship by our traditions. And that is going to create a lot of complex self-organization paradigms. So where individuals are going to, you know, I encourage individuals, because this is like an emergency temporary shelter for our meetings. So we build these tents, emergency shelters, people can meet. And then once we go back to our face-to-face groups, we go back to our face-to-face groups. That's one paradigm. Another paradigm is that people are going to be very attracted to this service, to this paradigm, to this structure, and are going to want to keep it. And so I think what will happen is that we will, from our own experiences of failures and success, we'll see which approach, which method works best. Is it an area approach, an area ownership of Zoom accounts? Is it regional? Is it, should it be something that is done like a clubhouse, where you have a nonprofit organization that has like a building, a Zoom building, and it just rents out these rooms to meetings that need them and giving host keys? And that separates the business and the finance of managing Zoom away from groups and the fellowship, and then meetings just simply get a key and they come into the room and have their meeting and then they leave. So right now there's a rush of people setting, because this is a crisis. People are out. People are either choosing to go and risk infection for whatever cause they feel is worthy to do that, or they are staying home. And as we stay home, we still want to see our home group members and see our sponsors, our sponsees, our the people we love, and newcomers. To be here for when the newcomers come. So I don't know if that answered your question accurately, but it's just going to be a little wild, wild west right now. And when we get on the other side of this, we'll see how it all is. My big concern is that once we are on the other side of this, please, as you shut these temporary rooms down, communicate that through wherever you have disseminated the information. Shut those down and remove that information, so we don't have this vast field of landscape of empty paper plates and plastic cups.
Thank you, Kelly.
Glenn, I would offer, this is something that we're all going to deal with on this call because we're trusted servants. This is a steps thing, all right? Like, we can mitigate some of that by clear communication with people and communicating common sense opportunities for them and best practices. And the people who work the steps and use common sense will probably choose those, and then there'll be others who don't. And so the only thing that we can do as trusted servants is put out as much good information as possible and allow them to make the decisions. You know, when people show you who they are, believe them. And if you got to bang your head against the wall to try to get them to do something else, just fucking leave them alone.